How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Bad Lick with us tonight, and he can say his name and what he does in the band.
My name is Dominic, and I sing and play the guitar and write the songs in Bad Luck.
There we go. Well, Dominic, thank you for coming on. I want to give a huge shout out to Becky at Big Picture. She's always got some really fantastic bands, so I'm glad to add you into the fold here. First question I have for you, Dominic, I'm sure you get asked this a lot. How did Bad Luck start out? How'd you get your members? Kind of the whole anthology story, as you will.
Sure. I was playing in like a alternative hardcore, like post-hardcore band.
Okay.
When I was younger, and I was like 17 or 18 then, and even younger than that, I always kind of liked the genre of music Bad Luck kind of falls in the category of, but never really had a band that worked out. So in 2011, it was like my, as much of a cliche as it is of a phrase, it's just the truth. It was like my acoustic solo project thing.
Sure.
And then when the other band just kind of ended, wasn't really going anywhere, I just realized I could turn it into a band. So members wise, me and my brother are the only original members.
Oh, cool.
We've had a few different guitar players and just one other drummer, but our current two other guys, Charlie and Michael, they've been in the band longer than like any of the other members or the original members were. So they've been with us now since like 2018. So yeah, Charlie plays guitar, Mike plays drums, my brother Joe plays bass, and I play guitar and sing.
There you go. That's awesome. I did, as having, a sibling in a band, how does that go about? I'm sure you guys kind of have your own, quarrels, I'm sure. But, how is it being in a band with your brother? Because I imagine not only is it probably cool, but also I'm sure at times it can be a little stressful.
Yeah, I think, though, even in its stress, it's actually a more relieving and comfortable kind of stress compared to just any tension that'll rise between close humans that are in close quarters, like you tend to have to be in terms of being in a band. But no, I mean, my experience is definitely like bias specific. Me and my brother, we're only a year apart. He's older than me, but we're only a year apart, and we've just always been best friends. We do everything together, so we're good. I mean, even when we beef, it's actually pretty fun and funny. It's never really bad.
It is good to hear. Well, obviously, best of luck going further, and I'm sure you guys are going to work it out regardless if there is any issues. So, the next question I have for you, Dominic, kind of alluded to it a little bit, as we're starting here. Who were you influenced by? Who kind of got you started out in music? Was it like, did your family are they very musical? Kind of how did it all begin?
Gotcha. No, not at all. Other than my brother, me and my brother just kind of drove each other, kind of unexplainably since we were like 7 and 8. Other than like pro wrestling, the idea of being in a band was like the main thing we were obsessed with and wanted to aspire to do. So we just kind of taught ourselves and learned together and started and ended bands together, and then kind of eventually started working out more than not with Bad Luck. But my parents were like when I was younger, like a teenager, wanting to learn instruments. They were supportive in that they bought me like $200 guitars, which was really cool of them.
Sure.
But they were not supportive in the sense of when I didn't go to college and like wanted to try and do this and they didn't understand it. They were not into it at all. But yeah, I think that just drove me and Joe a lot more, and they love it now. It's like they're very proud and they love
very
the band.
cool.
So, yeah, it's cool.
And then influence-wise, who kind of influenced you, starting out? Are there any specific bands that kind of got you motivated to? I mean, obviously, I feel like from what I'm hearing is, growing up, you're just always involved with either, music. Both you and your brother were. Were there any particular bands that you were just like, man, we bond over, and then obviously kind of influences Bad Luck now?
Yeah, easiest, simplest answer would definitely be Blink-182. Like, as far as when we grew up and our friends together, and I think the timing of like late 90s, early 2000s, like pop punk boom on the radio type of thing and TV. They were like kind of the gateway drug to everything for me. But otherwise, just being from the Northeast, just really blessed to have grown up with bands like The Movie Life and Bayside. Our band's named after a Bayside song.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
And just, I don't know, a bunch of bands in that world and genres of things. Even going to heavier stuff like Glassjaw is a band I like a whole lot. And yeah, I don't know, Early the Used. Just a lot of the stuff from that. Midtown is like one of my favorite bands of all time.
Ooh, nice.
I'm looking forward to finally seeing them this year. Got the tickets to their reunion show. So yeah, stuff like that for sure.
Very cool. Like I had a chance to listen to, I would say a large majority of Summer of Pain, which I'll leave a link below. Go check it out. Go give it a listen. But um, I was like, yeah, these guys have like that emo vibe. You have a little bit of post-hardcore, like a little bit of alt. It's just a nice kind of combination of things. And being older, like being 29 and like kind of growing up and listening to this probably similar music to what you listen to, I was just like, man, this has this like nostalgia thing to it that I'm like, I don't feel like I'm old as shit yet, but like I'm getting there. And now that kind of has that, like, now I understand, like when my parents are like, man, this band's really nostalgic to me. Now I'm
Right.
starting to become that. I'm gonna have gray hair next interview. But I thought that was really cool. Definitely the Used. I could hear a lot of that influence as well, which I appreciate because I feel like I guess they're not really underrated as a band, but I don't feel like a lot of people talk about them as much. So it's always good to hear that name get passed around and stuff. So, but yeah, it was just a nice wide variety of different kind of styles, and like I think you guys bring a unique like flavor to the music that I've currently been jamming to. So I'd like throwing you guys into the rotation and have taking you guys out for a spin. So.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. All the above. Yeah, appreciate that.
No problem. And then I do appreciate that you mentioned you're from the Northeast. I also am from Pennsylvania. Well, I used to live in Jersey, moved to Pennsylvania. So I've, in the Northeast realm. So I always got to give a shout out. So, you guys are killing it. And then, I noticed some stuff that I was like, they have to be like from the Northeast. If I didn't like go and look, I was like, very Northeast, so I
That's cool.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for hearing that. I mean, it's definitely like we don't try too hard at it, but because it is who we are, it ends up in there as far as the influence and the sound. And yeah, just appreciate that because, like I said, I generally speaking, I feel lucky to be from where I'm from.
Sure.
But also in relation to music and our genre and culture in regards to like about 20 years ago now, I feel really lucky. Just like everyone from different places has their own like good and bad as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there is a lot of really cool stuff happening here or coming from here or just being done in a certain way here that it wasn't being done other places. So yeah, thanks for noticing that.
I would agree with that, certainly, and I'll leave a bunch of Northeast bands out here in the comments. But the next question I have for you, Dominic, is a fun one, kind of keeping on the same train about we were talking about influences. What are you listening to currently? What's on the Spotify? What are you jamming to recently?
I like the Pup record they put out recently.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was good. I like the new Prince Daddy record. I enjoyed that. I feel like I like their stuff in general, but I feel like they made a bunch of progression, and I think that's cool to hear people change
Certainly.
but still sound like their band. Been listening to heavier stuff, just kind of for fun. I was pretty late on the Turnstile record, and I've listened to that some more than not as of recently. And then I've been listening to a bunch of Trapped Under Ice, actually, just kind of wanting to hear riffs and stuff. But other than that, I mean, just yesterday I had like a big older music listen through as I worked. I listened to a bunch of like Jimmy Eat World and Fall Out Boy, like early stuff, just to, I don't know, kind of think about songs like that. So yeah.
I love that. I also get into, I'm glad that you said that because I also get into that wave where I'm like, man, I'd love to I just go back and I think about a band that I've like grown up listening to, and I'm like, man, I should listen to them today. And then I'll go listen to like somebody like I'm trying to think who I was listening to recently. I was listening to some like old like Cartel.
Oh, nice. I like their second one a lot. Chroma, I believe it's called. I like that record a lot.
Listening to that, and then now that Amber Lynn signed to Equal Vision, been listening to them a ton again, just like going back and listening to some of their like older catalog, and I'm like, man, I feel old as shit right now, like
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I heard there's new Armor for Sleep. I haven't heard it, but I heard that today.
That came out today. I'll have to listen to it as well. I'm super stoked. Obviously, another fantastic Jersey band.
Right, yeah.
I feel like it's a Jersey renaissance. We got My Chem to start out, and then Armor for Sleep. I'm just saying it's all they're all coming back, which warms my heart greatly. So I'm very, very excited.
Hell yeah.
The next question I have for you, Dominic, is a fun one as well. For people who maybe aren't familiar with Bad Luck and are checking out this interview for the first time, and they're like, "Man, I like Dominic. He's cool. I like Bad Luck. They're cool." What song would you recommend to a new listener to kind of give them an idea of your sound and your band collectively?
Sure. I'd biasly go with our latest record, Summer Pain, mainly because it's like the thing I'm most proud of. I like a lot
Sure.
of our early stuff too, but I feel like we sonically and production wise and just overall honed in on the style wise, kind of nailed it as far as Summer Pain goes. So if I have to pick one song, it's probably Gwendolyn.
Ooh. Okay.
It could almost as easily be Favorite Smile, but it's probably, yeah, it's probably in that world of song. Maybe Favorite Smile. Yeah, probably Favorite Smile.
That was I think the one of the first tracks I checked out. The other one I checked out was Required Thinking. That was also fantastic too.
That's
Uh,
another one I could tie for that answer as well. I love that song. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I love that song a lot.
so like I made my way about halfway through, and I was like, you know what, I really have to listen to the other half because like I got really immersed in it. I feel like as an interviewer, you got to kind of do your homework and stuff, and I was like, man, I've really enjoyed this a lot. And then I was almost
Thanks.
to the point where I was just like, man, like I'm so excited to interview Dominic, but I was like, man, I also want to listen to the other half of this record. So I was like, the divisiveness of those two things. But I'm glad that you picked Required Thinking and Favorite Smile. I'd say those two thus far, at least for me, from what I've listened to, I've liked the most. But I'm probably sure
Thanks.
there's other songs off the record that, again, I'll link the whole thing. You need to listen to it. Everybody that watches
Yeah,
this, go listen.
appreciate it. Yeah, please do. It's been out for about a year and a couple days, and yeah, we'll be playing songs off of it for a very long time. So,
Woo.
yeah.
There we go, Dominic. And then kind of to follow up with that, you released the record last year. A lot of, if everybody knows what happens in the news. I'm sure everybody gets tired of saying it, but in terms of releasing that album at that time, Dominic, like, how does it feel now that, like, because you got to play some shows and play some of the new songs that are out? How does that feel that it's finally released and like people can listen to it, people can see you guys live and stuff like that? Because I imagine as a band and like collectively, I imagine that must be just such a cool thing, and obviously a relief that we can go back out to go see shows and stuff. So how is those experiences like playing it on tour and like obviously playing it for fans out there to experience it live for possibly the first time?
It's the best because the record was done in terms of its recording since early 2020, and then done in terms of its mix since about mid 2020. So even with it coming out last summer, July
Mm-hmm.
2021, that was us pretty much waiting as long as we could. And at the time, we had a tour in front of us in the fall that we were like, all right, this is relatively close enough. It was another band. This band from Nashville, Free Throw. It was their album releases tour,
Oh, very
so it
cool.
wasn't ever going to be our tour. But part of the excitement we had going into it was like, we have a new record, they have a new record, and then, like you said, the stuff we all hear in the news of it all, COVID kind of delayed our half of their tour till January. So we didn't. We did our own thing in December, and those were our first shows back. Then we did the postponed Free Throw tour in January, and it was really cool. And then we did one of the longest tours we ever have this spring. It was like a 43-day tour.
Oh, very cool.
And point being, on all those tours, we played a lot of the new stuff. We had vinyl for the record. So mainly because I can't change anything about it anyways. I wouldn't, and I feel lucky that we weren't in the situation that a lot of other people have found themselves in with the supply chain shortage stuff, where like
Sure. Yeah.
you put out new stuff and you don't have it in hand. Like, we had everything in hand, and again, in just trying to look at a glass half full type of way. We had all the time for kids to learn the songs,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll say that like truly coming from a place of gratitude and appreciation, because especially on the 43-day tour, almost equally on the Free Throw tour in January, but definitely the most it has been on this 43-day tour in March and April, or excuse me, April and May. Kids were singing the new stuff more than anything else, and people were excited to hear songs that we kind of actually like, some of the ones we discussed, like Required Thinking, Gwendolyn, and
Mm-hmm.
Favorite
Mm-hmm.
Smile. So like, I don't know. It's just it's vindicating and like verifying, and feels very good. And I think people in a different perspective kind of way would agree. It's good. If it's going well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and obviously continue best of luck, and I hope that people watch this and go check your band out because I was genuinely like, it's it's always cool for me to get bands that I have kind of seen around, but didn't really maybe like fully listen to it, or I just
Sure.
was pass it by, not in unintentionally or in a mean way. I'm just like, man, there's just a lot of bands that circulate through
Oh
through the
yeah, yeah, I
circles.
get it.
And I was like, man, when Becky messaged me and said like, hey, would you like to have this band on? I really try to do my due diligence of just listening to as much music as I possibly can from the band, and obviously, especially more so with COVID happening, in the past 2 years, like I feel like I've taken that even more seriously than prior years. And I just feel like because bands are starting to come out and there's just new music all the time, it's always good to find bands that obviously have the opportunity to play those things live and be able to show it to new people, but also like there's still going to be plenty of bands that I'm gonna have to look for and find, on the X amount of years I continue to do this, and
Sure.
it's always a gratifying thing to know that bands like, really do care about their craft. Not to say that not to say that there aren't people that don't, but I think it's important to notate that bands put a lot on the line, as musicians to go on tour, especially with gas prices the way they are. And like also, just to put out a record. Like, I feel like that's such a big accomplishment. And, I want to give you kudos because I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
And then now that you mentioned vinyl, like as soon as this is over with, I'm going to, go scour the internet to go buy it,
Oh, please do.
because
Thanks, man.
I have nothing else to throw my money at, so I'll throw it at records. Um,
Appreciate it.
but it's cool, and I think that just hearing it from your position and going on tour for 45 days and having people like sing the words back at you, I feel like it. If I was in that position, I feel it very gratuitous, and obviously like best of luck going further, because I feel like you guys got a chef's kiss sound, and I'm really
Thanks.
really digging it. So guys, go. Listen, I already told you a couple different times. I'm gonna tell you again. Go purchase it if you can. If you go see them out on tour, I think that would probably be the best option, to go buy it from them directly. But if you can't,
Yeah, happily. Happily.
go purchase it in the links below. But the next question I have for you, Dominic, you guys signed to Take This to Heart Records probably not much longer after or before the record release. How has that process been? I've heard some great things from this record label, so I wanted to get it straight from you. How has that process been? How did they find out about your band? Because that, I feel like that's, for me as a music nerd, I always love to hear how those things kind of come to be, I guess.
Sure. So we kind of stopped with no announcement, no real intention. Well, there was some side motivation, but nothing in regards to the band. In 2015, we kind of stopped being. At the end of 2015, we stopped being a band till about the middle of 2018.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
I was just trying to do some other stuff, and it's still in the world of music, but just kind of failed upwards with it. It wasn't. In a good way, it wasn't right for me, and it helped me kind of remember who I was, and
Sure.
started writing songs that were just more true to who I am, and that kind of unintentionally wound up being Newer Bad Luck, and so Bad Luck came back, and I just kind of, I think it was like summer 2017 or end of 2017 or something. I had like 20 songs, and I just sent them around to a bunch of people I knew, and it just got to the label, and yeah, we signed. As far as being signed to them goes, we signed to them with our comeback end of 2018. So we put out a few EPs with them, and now this was our first like LP
Oh,
with
very
them.
cool.
But yeah, it's been cool, and yeah, I mean, it was nice to get recognition as far as like someone willing to work with us based off of the potential of the new songs. So yeah, working with them has been cool.
There we go. Always good to hear. Always good to hear, Dominic. The next question I have for you is another fun one. If you guys could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
So we did this Christmas cover. I wouldn't say we didn't pick it. We just kind of did it. It was whatever. It was all I want for Christmas is you, by Mariah Carey. But I would say, because we've been approached about like Blink cover comps before, or like full band comps, it would be a Midtown song I would have to think
Ooh.
about, or in the Blink train of thought that I was going off on at first. I always say the song name right, and it's ironic because it's my favorite song by them, but it's the ninth song on the self-titled Astenia or Astenia. I always say the fucking title wrong. I don't know why. I'm not one to get tripped up on words, but that one trips me up. But arguably to me, and again, they're like my lifetime favorite band, but
Sure.
arguably to me, that is the best Blink-182 song. So I would like to cover that song. I love that song. So
Ooh.
maybe I should learn the fucking title. But yeah, outside of not being able to say it correctly, that song for sure.
Honestly, you're in good company, Dominic, because I can't say shit either. So we're
Okay,
we're in
cool.
the same boat, paddling together. So,
They're cool.
but if you guys have any suggestions for Bad Luck, drop them in the comments. I'm sure they'll check them out. But I like that Blink 182 song. I feel like if I had to put my metaphorical coin in the pot, that's what I would
Nice.
pick. So
I do some random covers in my room all the time just for the sake of playing. I always play. I'm wearing their shirt right now. I always play "Fake ID" by Joyce Manor.
ooh,
Just I don't know, a song that I was able to learn easily, and I just always play it when I'm bored. But yeah, I don't know. I do, in a non-arrogant sounding way, I do spend more time working on original music. When I was younger, I think I had a hard time learning how to play guitar compared to a lot of my friends because
sure.
they all were good at learning people's songs, and I can, but I'm just much more interested in writing a song. Like that's like the main thing I do is I write songs. So yeah, I don't know, but those are probably the couple answers I could give that are I think good.
I feel a lot of camaraderie in that because uh, many people that have watched this channel know that I also play guitar, and
Oh, cool.
I kind of am in the same way where like I learned some songs and I was like, okay, these are cool, but like what if I wrote my own, like what if I was like trying to write my own tune? So I feel a lot of respect for that answer. I don't feel like it was, at least I didn't take it in the way that it was like, hey man, I wrote my own music,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
all
it's just
original.
true. For me, it's just true. Even to a detriment of times because I've been asked to fill in for friends' bands before that. I can do that, and I will.
Sure.
But again, it's just I don't know. It's just not this. I'm better teacher or writer than I am a learner, I suppose. Yeah.
And you're dedicated to Bad Luck, so we love to
Yeah.
see that here.
Yeah. Big time.
The next question I have for you, Dominic, another fun one. What is your favorite food to eat?
Pizza. Um, Pizza from here. I live in New York City. I grew
Ooh,
up on Long Island, but definitely it is the one food, and I like a lot of food, but that is the one food I could eat just about any time and more of an amount of than like one serving, which is again something I'm very content with when it comes to other food. Like I'll have one plate of something very good and be like, that was good. I don't want more. But pizza, I can eat a lot of it and tend
I,
to. So yeah, I'll just vague or kind of simple answer, but pizza.
no, that's I feel like as being also from the Northeast, that we I don't want to start any comment war fights, but I'm gonna argue we have some of the best pizza in this area. So
Yeah,
no,
definitely.
no diss,
Yeah,
but I don't feel like if I went to California, I would get the same like the same thing as like a Jersey slice or a New York slice.
for sure, man.
So, next question I have for you, Dominic. If you guys were to pick somebody to collaborate with, whether it be a guest feature on an up and coming Bad Luck record or a producer you'd like to work with in the future, do you have any in mind?
Sure. Producer, it's kind of a not never-ending list, but it's a list we can think about and add to all the time. I'll
Sure.
say in that regard, my friends, mainly because they're possibilities, and A and B. Uh, yeah, I'll just leave it to my friends first. Um, Brett Romness, who we've worked with before, but he's at the Barbershop Studios in New Jersey. We'd love to work
Nice.
with him again. Alex Salter plays drums in this band Taking Meds, and he does live sound and merch for that band Drug Church. But we just toured with Taking Meds, and we had the benefit of having him on the tour the whole time, just about the whole time. So he did
Oh,
live
very cool.
sound for us, and that's still a roundabout answer to your question because he's a studio guy, kind of first before he was a live sound guy. So point being, maybe someday something with him. But in terms of collaborating, yeah, I'll go back to the Glassjaw answer, but I'd love Daryl Palumbo ever could sing on a Bad Luck song, or Vinny is someone that from I'm the Avalanche and Movie Life is someone that I've been acquainted with before, because like I said, I'm good friends with Brett and he plays drums in those bands. But that doesn't change the fact that Vinny is like one of my favorite singers, and I would love to have him sing on one of the songs one day. outside of that, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, those are like two of my more favorite singers that I think would be cool to have them sing on a track of ours.
I like that you picked Vinny. That's like, again, hometown, like, local guy to us. So I appreciate that answer a ton. So guys, if you want to hear Bad Luck, I Am the Avalanche collab, you go on Twitter, you tag
Yeah, that'd
both
be
of those
nice.
bands, collab question mark. I don't want to say anything, but I'm a big manifester, so I feel like if that, I'm gonna let leave the ball in your guys' court. If you want to make it happen, then you should do it. But
Yeah, it'd be tight. If it's right, it'll happen someday for sure.
correct. Dom knows what's up. The next question I have for you, Dominic. Obviously you do vocals, you play some guitar. If there was another musical instrument you could master, what would it be?
Oh, it's the bass, easily. I mean, drums would be really fun, but it's out. It's definitely the bass. Bass is my first instrument.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
my brother's much better at it than me. He's best bass player in the world, and that's why he plays bass in our band. But
There you go.
I'm obsessed with the bass. My problem is I play the bass all too much. Like I play too many notes all the time. We have to slim down the stuff I write on bass. But I have a true appreciation for drums because I'll write the general skeleton of drum parts. Michael will come in and change them because he's a great drummer and
Sure.
much better and more capable than I am. But yeah, rhythm section as a whole is important to me. But bass first, and then a little bit of kick, hi hat, snare, slim down drum kit. I could definitely get into someday when if I could get the coordination just right.
I feel that as a resident guitar player, I feel like I'm supremely good at the air drumming, but not very good at putting that actually on a kit.
Yeah, the hand to foot separation is tough, but I don't know. My brother, he can play drums a little bit, and I respectfully him because again, he can play drums a little bit. I can't, but I can write drums a bit better than he can. I know I understand it very well. I just the physical aspect isn't entirely there for me just yet. Maybe someday though. But yeah, bass above all else. I love the bass.
Ooh, nice. Well, I'll have to continue with that with you on that journey because I also picked up a bass over quarantine. So,
Nice.
we'll have to keep it going. But the next question I have for you, Dom, is my personal favorite. I'm a huge nerd, so I love to ask this question. If you could be a video game character, who would you be?
Let's see. Let's see. I play. This is not the answer you want. I play a lot of sports games. I play a lot of games, but I play
Fair
a lot of
enough.
sports games. So that I don't want to give a cop out answer and just give an athlete because that's not the same thing. But in terms of non-sports games, more recently I play Apex, and I forget his name, but
Ooh, okay.
the guy who can get the grenades further than everybody else. He's like the Australian guy. I would be that guy. I can't remember his name right now, but that's the guy I play as like all the time. I got like almost 1,000 kills with him. But I don't know. Probably the character Ray Liotta did the voice for in Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah.
Ooh.
I forget his name off the top of my head, but my brother's replaying Grand Theft Auto 5 right now, so we've been talking about it a lot recently, and it's like the best game ever. So, yeah, or maybe in a totally other life, entirely outside of the video games, maybe a character from San Andreas, since that game was so baller to me too when I was young. So yeah, a Grand Theft Auto character, vaguely speaking.
Ooh, I like that. I like that answer. Very timely again, because the Grand Theft Auto series is booming once again. So I like
Yeah.
that answer. I'm
Hell
about
yeah.
it. Next question I have for you, Dom. If you were to compile a dream tour lineup including Bad Luck, who would be on it?
It's tough to say. So again, I'll just give like huge names, seemingly impossible, maybe someday. There was this tour when we were kids called the Pop Disaster Tour. It was Green Day, Blink-182, and Jimmy Eat World.
Yes, yes.
I would just do that tour, and then we're on it too. That's cool. And there's other bands for sure, but that's like a pretty go-to easy one for me, just because that was a pretty that tour exists and like there's a DVD made from it and stuff like that. I just helped shape me, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, the Pop Disaster Tour, but now, and none of them are that old, and we're older than, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Love it. As I feel like again, I feel like Jimmy Eat World does not get a lot of credit in the alt scene because they're fantastic. Listen, I grew up listening to a lot of Jimmy Eat World, but I feel
Yeah,
like a lot of people don't talk about them as much. I would argue, like, you get your Fallout Boys, you got the Blink 182s, which they're all great. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like Jimmy Eat World underrated. Great band. Go check them out if you haven't. But
yeah.
next question I have for you, Dom. In your opinion, who puts on a great live performance in terms of the bands you've seen?
I mean, I've seen a lot that I'll go with more recent and not smaller, but just like happening now. I saw that
Sure.
band No Pressure, the guy from Story So Far's other band.
Ooh, yeah.
We
Okay.
just saw them in Brooklyn, and that show was crazy. So that was really fun. But on a bigger scale performance, not to overuse the Green Day of it all, but I saw Green Day last summer. It was my first time seeing them finally, and
Oh, very
I
cool.
always knew they were really good, but it was really, really great. And in 2011, on the Honda Civic tour, when Blink kind of just came back, my chem was direct support, and I was lucky enough to be in a situation where someone got us like front row tickets, and
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
saw
so
my
cool.
chem like front row in 2011, and that was probably still to now, other than Green Day, like the best overall like concert of a show I've ever seen. So yeah, somewhere between No Pressure, a band like No Pressure happening now, and then huge band arena bands like Green Day. Yeah,
Good choices. I will say I also have been listening to that new No Pressure record a ton. It's
it's
been
awesome.
like I've been spending that an absolute ton. So I'm glad that it feels very much like old story so far, and I'm like totally about it. So
Yeah,
definitely
I
go
like
check
it
it
as a
out.
whole. Yeah, yeah, it's a good record.
There we go, Dominic. The next question I have for you: favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Okay, movie probably Goodfellas. Uh, TV show. Generally speaking, it's The Office.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
but I haven't done like rewatches in a really long time because I've just seen it so many times that I know it. My brother will have it on
Yeah.
when we're on tour. I'll see it. So maybe it's kind of crept over to Sunny at this point, or doing a huge Seinfeld rewatch right now. It's another show
Ooh,
I've seen a whole bunch of, but yeah, I don't know. I like. I guess those are all sitcoms in a way. I don't know if they're
kind
all
of.
sitcoms, but
Yeah.
yeah. I like TV like that a whole lot, but I'll say Sunny. Oh, it's always Sunny in Philadelphia for TV show, and then Goodfellas for movie. Yeah.
Ooh, both good. I'm definitely. I feel like I have to restart Always Sunny because I feel like I make it through a couple different episodes. And I'm like, man, this is great. I should just restart it at the beginning, and I just get so immersed in some of the episodes that I'm like, eventually I will start it from the beginning and end it where it's
Take it
at
to the
now.
end. Yeah, I feel you.
But the next question I have for you, Dom, if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month, and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what album would it be?
This band called Jets to Brazil. It's Blake from Jawbreakers, like other
Ooh,
bands,
all right.
and the album is called Perfecting Loneliness, and it's one of my favorite records of all time. So that record.
Ooh, that's awesome. I'll have to check it out. I haven't checked that one out, so I'll have to add it to my list of albums to go give a listen to.
Yeah, check
Um,
it out. I love it a lot. Yeah.
there we go. The last question, Dom, that I've been asking a lot of people more recently, just kind of keeping it in my rotation. Um, for people who have made it through this entire interview, thank you for watching. But, what do you want people to take away from Bad Luck, whether it be from the lyrical perspective, the musical perspective, or a combination of two? I feel like your music is very, like, lyrically, dense, which I appreciate. And I feel like I need to go over it with maybe more so a fine tooth comb. But, what do you want people to take away from your band collectively? I feel like I always love the answers that people give to me on this question.
Sure. I really can only speak so vaguely and not too like specifically
Sure.
or overly generally, because I think it's important that it's odd. That's a question you get asked a lot being in a band. Like, what's the, and this isn't what you just asked me, but I'm just using it to make a point. You get asked things like what is the message or like the point? And
Sure.
there's not like one in specific, because like a lot of our stuff is like storytelling, and those are like hyper personal stories for me, or my perspective being hyper personally told. But that's not like the goal or the end game. I think it's totally cool that if somebody hears a song and they think it's about something, even if ever it ever were me and that person in a room and they were like, is it about this? And I say no, because it's not true. I don't think it ruins their idea of what it is. I think um connection through music and like emotional connection and um, bonding through music is important. I'm avoiding using the word I want to use to answer your question, which is overall, if there's one thing I want people to get out of Bad Luck, it's just relatability and um, growth and perspective on their own life or their
Sure.
relationships or past relationships or what they aspire to have in their lives. And in a simple way, in terms of like really great advice my mom gave me, and I think when I was younger, and it translates to our band, like you can simply be really angry and really sad, and you can simply express that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's like a silver lining to that freedom that is like things, as vague as it is and empty as it can come across, like things do get better
Yeah.
ultimately always, and there's more to life than one thing, even if that one thing isn't negative, but definitely when it's negative, yeah, there's just more to life than one thing. So, all that being said, yeah, if you listen to Bad Luck and you like it and you have grown with us or you care about us, A, thank you. Above all else, thank you. And B, I hope that one of the things you like about it is like hearing the style of the song or the lyrics or the catchy aspects and feeling like you can relate. Because if you feel that way, then you probably can, and we're probably not too different in our own ways, and I think that that's cool. I think that's a really nice thing that other bands have given me my whole life, and I hope
Sure.
that we give to people and music as a whole.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that answer. Like, not even I understand where you're coming from. Certainly, I know that sometimes, music can be very personal, whether it be from that perspective of that person and like going through those trials that you have, or someone that has that very well has been through shit, and I think that it's a way to kind of channel those emotions and allow people to understand that, like, collectively we're all human and we all have these emotions that we deal with and situations that we're a part of. And I think that the cool thing, I guess more specifically about like alternative music, is that I've always appreciated how honest or how approachable people are within the scene, that you can talk about basically anything,
Yeah,
and it can be as relatable as you can, like, as you can be, or it could be like you ask someone and they're like, well, actually that wasn't the meaning of the song. And I think that there's a nice divergence of those two thoughts, where you can have songs that are a little bit more direct and a little bit more in your face, and there's some songs that are a little bit more like hypothetical, or kind of like a little bit
sure.
more out there,
Conceptual or whatever. Yeah,
conceptual. Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you aren't trying to kind of box yourself into one thing where you're like, this is the meaning of it. It's like, find your own interpretation of it, allow yourself to be immersed in it, and find meaning in it in whatever way you can. And so I do appreciate that, Dom, because I feel like a lot of people don't um take it into account, that like sometimes maybe there might not be a meaning for it. There might just be something that you just want to get out there and you want people to understand, and that's it's about as cut and dry as you can get.
yeah, for sure, man.
But the last thing, Dominic, the most important thing, tell the people where they can find Bad Luck at, what you guys have coming up in the future, and anything else you'd like to plug or talk about. This will probably be going out around the like first week of August.
Sounds good. So first week of August, about a month from now, September 10th, we're playing Ohio is for Lovers Fest in
Ooh,
Cincinnati. It's
awesome!
like every
Congrats.
band ever. Yeah, thanks. It's gonna be really cool. Descendants is headlining. I'm probably most excited about that. But it was Hawk Heights' really cool idea, and they asked us to play, and we feel very lucky. And there's a bunch of other cool bands you can go check out and get tickets to see us with, and that'll be really cool. Um, and then where to find us? badluckny.com is our website. It may be badlucknyc.com from that time, because we're gonna own both, but I don't know what's going on there. It's probably still badluckny.com. Our handles on Instagram is badluck.nyc, and on Twitter it's just badlucknyc. If you're gonna buy merch, other than vinyl, get the vinyl from the label. But if you're gonna buy merch, buy it from our store, badluckny.com/merch. We do all that stuff ourselves. We ship it, and we even take part in printing it, because our guitar player Charlie is involved with the merch company that
Very
we
cool.
go through. So we're super DIY in that way. And if you want to directly support us, especially while we're not on tour, that's definitely the most go-to way. But other than that, just look for we're just no, excuse me. We're working on new music and trying to get it out ASAP. And beyond that, look for us on tour either later this year or early next. Whatever we can help to figure out. Yeah.
There we go. Well, again, want to give a huge shout out to Becky at Big Picture. I know
Yeah, Becky Rock.
she's been working tirelessly for this to happen. So much love to her. She's always great. So always love giving her a shout. But main reason why you checked out this interview, the main reason why you stuck it out to the end, which is much appreciated. You should go check out Bad Luck. All of the links below. If you can, go purchase merch. These guys are awesome, and I'd really love to see them continue to do what they do best. So please go pick something up. You know, already know I'm gonna buy that vinyl immediately. Like as soon as
Thank you,
Dominic
bro.
and I hang up, I'm going straight to their website and going to buy it. So please go
Appreciate
do
it.
that. And if you enjoyed this content, you enjoyed the interview, please share, like, subscribe. It goes a long way. And huge thanks to Dominic for coming on tonight and chatting with me.
Yeah, yo. Thank you for having me and being so kind and for giving me your time. Appreciate you.